All right, so I want to talk to y'all about something. You know, just something, man. Just stick with me. So in Dallas, been living here a long time now. I actually used to live, and this is for my Dallas folks. If y'all seeing this, hopefully I get in some kind of Dallas algorithm where people can know where I'm coming from. But I stayed in apartments in this square block north of Alpha in between Montfort and Preston off of 635. And they're proposing this 8 billion. I no longer stay there now. I don't stay there. I still, 635. That's kind of just where I dwell. Seem to hang, seem to like around this area. Areas further down, left and right. I've always stayed on or around 635 since I had my first apartment. So when it comes to this project I'm talking about, this is the Dallas Midtown project that was proposed a long time ago. A long time ago. Um, it says after years of stalled plans to redevelop the former Valley View Mall site, the entire 110-acre site is for sale. That was back in who knows, but when it comes down to it, yes. There used to be a mall that sat on this land called Valley View Mall. And I actually worked at this mall at a J.C. Penney. And actually, my brother worked there. My brother's girlfriend worked there at the point in time. I think my brother's girlfriend was the first one to work there. Then my brother. Then I came along, and that's where I met my ex. But anyway, off of that, Um, I used to live on the other side of Alpha, which is north of Value View Mall, and it's like 2 minutes to get to work. Man, I was cooling. So just north of this 110-acre site, uh, I lived and I worked on the site, like I said. But while I was working, we were getting the store ready to shut down, you know. So everything on sale. We putting stickers on things, stickers on this, $10, $10, $10. Try to sell as much shit as you can. So after that, they demolished the whole mall. And this was a full mall with a movie theater and everything. Like it wasn't just a JC Penney in this mall, a whole food court. It was a mall. Right down the street is the Galleria Mall, which was the big brother to Valley View. How everybody looked at it. Valley View went dead. They were going bankrupt. Everything else. Before they demolished it completely, the copper thieves had ran through it. There's multiple fires and all of that. So anytime the city or there's any announcement that a big mall like this or anything is gonna be demolished, you will have dope fiends running rampant through there, stealing every lick of copper that is in there because copper, as we know, is valuable. Um, so that happened. A few fires happened and things. They finally got it demolished. They went through a lot when it comes to the when it comes to you building this new development. Let's talk about this real quick. New development. When you talk about construction projects, new developments, 110 acres. This is a huge space of land. They're trying to redevelop this land. This land, they want it to in the future encompass condos, luxury hotels, luxury apartments, restaurants, uh walking distant type of things, to where people don't have to. There's a grocery store, I think it's Sears. I think they're actually talking about putting the JC Penney back on the land. Um Scott Beck is the developer for this area. Um and going from what it was, so they're completely changing what this landmass is known for since 1967. I think Valley View was erected. and it lasted all the way until I'm not gonna lie and give you the year that I think it may be, but for a while. So about around the time that I said that I was living in the area. So with that, you know, hold on, let me do this. Let me do this. I'm gonna just play the story just to give y'all a visual because I want y'all to see the landmass I'm talking about. I don't just want to sit up here and talk. A little bit of information. This is a video entitled "From Dated to Swanky, Dallas Midtown. What's next for Valley View Mall property?" This was 2 years ago that this was, and there's not a ton of information. Well, I guess if I look a little deeper, there may be, but when it comes to visual videos about it from news sources, there's not a ton. There is some, but they're all pretty short. This was kind of more detailed, so we gonna tap into this real quick, man, and I'm gonna be cutting in maybe when I feel like it.
Today we learned about some big plans for a prime piece of real
So that's the 110 acres I'm talking about right there.
estate.
Used to be the home of Valley View Mall, just east of 635 and the Dallas.
Okay, so 635, that's the North Dallas corridor. 635, huge highway that's always jam packed with traffic. If any of y'all know, if you know, you know, like they say. Now that square right there, that is the area that this development is taking place. Um, and I kind of just want to go into where I was. I think I left off before I got sidetracked. When it comes to a new construction like this, there's certain things that come into play. Now, this was a mall with 110, I think they said 110 restrooms or toilets. That's how 110 toilets is what was on this property. And y'all just heard me say condos, luxury apartments, luxury hotels, uh, restaurants, kitchens. There's a lot more pull on water supply when you talk about these things. When it talks about sewer's another thing, and when it came to that, there was a big battle between the city of Dallas and the developers for this because the sewer line is actually not on the property that the developers basically have to develop. They zoned out this area and this is their area, but hell, the sewer line is in the space of the service road for this. So they went back and forth, went back and forth, went back and forth, and ended up that the actual developers had to pay $10 million in tunnel under the service road to get their sewer line connected because the demand the demand for sanitary sewer lines has to increase if you're gonna increase the amount of shit you're gonna be flushing down those sewers. So they had to do that. They took care of that now. So that's kind of where we're at, the point we're at now.
North Tollway in the Galleria.
Today we learned about some big plans for a prime piece of real estate.
Used to be the home of Valley View Mall, just east of 635 and the Dallas North Tollway in the Galleria. Alexis Wainwright today telling us that area is also getting a new name.
So you see Montford on the left, you see Preston on the right. I'm looking my scope of view right now. I'm looking at the area above the yellow block. You see Alpha going from east to west. I used to stay on the west side north of Alpha, basically. All of that block above the yellow is all affordable housing. All affordable housing, you know. And my mom, she actually stayed another block north, which that area there is nicer than the area from Spring Valley, because the next one up the road, they don't have it labeled, but the next east to west after Alpha Road going north is Spring Valley. And I actually lived on that side as well, and I stayed in 2 units that were below Spring Valley. in between the Prescott and Montfort as well. I stayed here. I stayed in this area for a while. I no longer stay in this radius, but it's still interesting what's going on over there. I'm still keeping up with what's going on over there just because it's interesting to me, these projects, construction projects, and things like that. I've actually seen a few construction projects before my eyes go on, dealing in the trades and things like that that I do dibble and dabble in. So it's just interesting to me. Um, so yeah, let's keep it rolling.
The land where the old Valley View Mall had stood since the early 1970s is ready for the next 50 years.
Today marks the new chapter in this story. Its transformation will be a testament to the potential of North Dallas and the greater Dallas County.
Today, city leaders and developers shared their plans for what will be called the Dallas International District.
The fulfillment
Look at that shit.
of the vision set forth over 10 years ago by our city leaders, chambers of commerce, the development community, and neighbors. The vision of the Dallas International District is to be a new regional downtown that thousands of people call home.
The first phase of this project includes retail, restaurants, and apartments.
Dallas Midtown will be a vibrant hub where people can live, work, and play all in one place with direct connectivity to the Galleria Mall.
Galleria, that's what I, said. That was like the big brother to Valley View Mall. It was right down the street, and then it's got the skating rink and all the Louis Vuitton and all the shops that I don't want to shop at, but probably wouldn't shop at if I had the money to. But let's go.
The $4 billion project also includes office space, luxury hotels, entertainment venues, and trails connecting to White Rock Lake.
This was such a dynamic and meaningful part of
Michael Leave, who got his first job at Valley View Mall back in the 70s,
very excited.
Michael Leave, who got his first job at Valley View Mall back in the 70s, tells me his favorite part of this plan.
The retail, as a homeowner in the area.
Developers hope
The retail as a whole, they gonna put a time thumb on there, so you ain't gotta be driving as far to get your grocery. Okay, I just wanted to play that real quick. Let me come back over here to StreamYard. And let me do this, because the actual developer or the face of the development is Scott Beck. He's been the one who's been talking to the media about things. And he said some things that I thought was interesting, because he gave a little insight when it comes to the surrounding areas and the things he's having to go through with different city leaders and things like that. That's usually how it goes down. There's always a back and forth. Always a back and forth. So Scott Beck. There we go. Scott Beck. That's him right there. We're going to tap in with this right here. I thought this part specifically was interesting. Let me see. Okay, we good to go with it.
And so, Lee Kleinman was hell-bent on, if there's any help that the city is going to do anything, then that property needs to have affordable housing on it. And that was his MO. It's really the MO that has continued along the path of his successor, his handpicked successor, which is Janie Schultz. And really, a lot of the council people are really in favor of having affordable housing. We have an entire company, Anthem Development, that builds workforce housing within the DFW Metroplex. So we do this work. It's just some projects, it makes sense to have them in, some projects it doesn't. And this happens to be one of them, certainly at the start, that doesn't make sense.
So this is kind of the tug of war right here. City council and all of the politics that get involved with these projects like this. And I guess I could do this. With these projects like this, if I could get the right one, that you have all of these different people and city council has a different vision of this than the actual developers, which seems to be the case. And when you talk about affordable housing, and I think some of y'all are kind of picking up what I'm putting down, but, and I'm gonna use the G word, gentrification. But my question is, can we really use that if they're gonna leave all of those apartments the same? Because that's almost a historical. All of those apartments north of Alpha Road, those apartments were all built late 60s, 70s. So it's in the district of the council people who are pushing for there to be affordable housing on this Valley View land that previously was Valley View. They want more affordable housing on this. And what he is saying, the developer is saying that it just doesn't make sense to put affordable housing on this. And the word he's going to keep using is sustainability. And my question is, if there's affordable housing already there, then is it really gentrifying the community if they don't touch the community across the street? Because that's what it boils down to. And let me pause this and go back to it just so we can get a clear view. Oh man, so I'm learning something a little. This is, I'm on DallasMidtown.com. This is Street Views. As you see, once again, Montfort Road going north, and you see Preston Road going north. And I was incorrect with them not moving into north of Alpha. Their actual plan, it looks like, yes, for sure. Because if you see the corner of Alpha and Montfort Road, I stayed probably 1,000 feet north of Alpha Road, and you see that's a new development. So that's in their plans, I guess. So I don't really think there's a question as far as gentrification if that is gonna be happening north of Alpha Road, because yes, those apartments are not set up like that. I lived in them personally. So, but I don't know as far as what that is. I don't know exactly if that's going to be affordable housing or not, but it's definitely not going to be as affordable as it was for me to live there or the people that are currently living there. So, this whole project, something about it is I'm very interested in, as y'all could probably tell. But let's continue. Let me pause. We're going to continue with Scott Beck. And Scott Beck saying that this project specifically, it doesn't make sense to do affordable housing with. And I would assume the reason why is because you got to break even on this shit that you're doing now. I'll be back. Okay.
Why?
Well, the biggest reason is because we have a tremendous handpicked successor, which is Janie Schultz. And really, a lot of the council people are really in favor of having affordable housing. We have an entire company, Anthem Development, that builds workforce housing within the DFW Metroplex. So we do this work. It's just some projects, it makes sense to have them in, some projects it doesn't. And this happens to be one of them, certainly at the start, that doesn't make sense.
Why?
Well, the biggest reason is because we have a tremendous amount of workforce housing and affordable housing in this district already.
So when he says that, he's talking about north of the point that I showed y'all, because it looked like, I hate that I said it. Damn it, can't take it back. We going on. It looked like halfway up Montfort and Preston seems to be their cutoff point. So at some point, you're going to see this luxury apartment, and across the street, you're going to see a 1967 apartment, which right now is probably comprised of, I would say, 75% Spanish speaking community. right next to each other, in which now, in seeing that, now you understand why you will see, if you go down Park Lane or if you go to some of these other places, you'll see some big luxury apartment next door. It's a corner store. It's a laundromat. It's some apartments you can get. You can get you a 1 bedroom for $950. Like, this is why, because this is the shit that goes on. But this is the balance that these city planners, as I call them, or social engineers, or however they want to put it, this is the balance I think they need to really look at when it comes to this, because there's a reason why these people are in these apartments. These people are in these apartments because 9 times out of 10 they can't afford apartments that are in other areas of the city, because the city is so vast in Dallas that there's gonna be areas that you're just not gonna be able to afford to live in. And I dealt with that my whole time since I was 19 when I had my first apartment to 36 right now. There's just certain areas of Dallas I cannot afford to live in. I don't even think about, if I'm looking up Apartment Finder or Zillow, whatever it is, I'm not going to be able to live in these certain parts with the income that I have right now. And if you make less than $100,000 a year, there's just certain areas of Dallas that it's not going to be even logical to even try to look for something in these areas. I'm just gonna put it like that. Some may disagree, and you can put the disagreements in the comments, and I will entertain everybody. So
Almost every apartment building that is just immediately north of Valley View Mall is affordable. It's only affordable because it's 1970s vintage, right? There's plenty of that stock already. The question is what is the appropriate project to start to bring new life into an area of an otherwise dead, now removed mall? And as a developer who's been doing this for 40 years and our company for 52 years, I don't think it starts with an affordable housing project. And certainly it doesn't start with, hey, if the city of Dallas will put in an $8.5 to $10 million sanitary sewer line, we're going to encumber all of the property with affordable housing, which is
so yeah,
which is what the request was.
Okay.
So yeah, the request from the city is that if the city is gonna do this sewer work, you remember I talked about the sewer work that wasn't on the actual property, it's up under the service road for 635 south of the property. So the city basically told the developer, if we're going to do this, we want this to be 100% affordable housing. And you know what that forced the developer to do is say, you know what? Okay, cool. We're not going to take that offer. We're going to put it in ourselves. We got money. We got money. So and that's what they did. That's the point. Like I said, that's the point where we're at now. They did it themselves so they could have control over what was put here. We don't want affordable housing here. We want luxury hotels, luxury apartments, luxury restaurants, luxury restrooms, luxury water fountains, luxury. Oh shit, man! Let me keep on going.
Okay. And that was a hard no from you.
Well, it's a hard no. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's irresponsible from a developer perspective.
And I understand. That's the thing. I kind of understand both sides. As far as a developer, of course, I expect him to say it's irresponsible to do that, and I expect the city to say we want affordable housing here, because affordable housing, what does it bring? It brings people. It brings, it makes you look good. If you're a council member and you're a city council leader and you're bringing affordable housing and you're going for affordable housing, you get voted in next time because people like affordable housing. So, it's one of them things, man.
Irresponsible. Quite frankly, from a city perspective, it's irresponsible. And at the time, I was significantly disagreeing with Lee Kleinman. Look, when Linda Koop asked us to get involved with this project, and then we started to get involved, what we didn't want to happen was what happened to Prestonwood Mall. And for, again, those of your listeners who are listening to this podcast today, they'll understand that, especially if they lived anywhere near Addison at the corner of Beltline and the toll road, that entire area used to be Prestonwood Mall. And today there are a bunch of big box retail and just open surface parking lots, right? That's what we got. We could have gotten something incredible. Quite frankly, something incredible happened in the old Sackwoods Village.
I think that might have been a bar, but I don't know, man. I think I'm running this too long. This probably could have been a live stream. I probably would have had more fun doing this live, but I said, let me just come through, man, talk about something, man, that I want to be. Yeah, I've been wanting to talk about it, but I'm gonna cut it short right there. I'm gonna keep my eye out, when it comes to news about this. Of course, these construction projects like this, man, they go on for decades. So it's already been 10 years, so we'll see. I'm sure at a certain point, the thing is, once they start building, though, that's the thing. I say they go on for decades, but once the actual building cinder blocks and shit start going up, that's when it goes forward. They talking about adding the trolley system to get people back between Galleria and the area, so people ain't even gotta have cars and all type of shit, So we gonna see, man. I just wanted to talk about a little bit of social commentary. Geography is one of the things that I am very interested in, especially when it comes to city geography. How do they plan city planning and all of that sorts? Man, I'm YJ, and I'm about to get up out of here. Peace to the people that actually watch this, man. Salute to y'all.